Christian Horner has just been kicked out of Red Bull, the very team he built from the ground up into a Formula One powerhouse. After nearly 20 years at the top, the man once celebrated as a mastermind is now being dragged through the mud by fans, journalists, and even members of his own organization. Social media exploded with reactions. One viral tweet, racking up over 1.2 million views, showed a wild party scene captioned, "Christian Horner is finally out." Another viral meme showed someone frantically tapping 5 phones at once with the text, "Me liking every tweet about Christian Horner getting sacked. But why have millions suddenly turned on Horner? He wasn't always this controversial." Back in 2005, Horner made history by becoming the youngest team principal Formula One had ever seen, just 31 years old, leading a rookie team with no victories, a shoestring budget, and no real threat to the established giants. Most people in the paddock saw Red Bull racing as nothing more than a flashy marketing stunt. Horner didn't care. He knew what he wanted to build. He worked the political angles, shaped a winning garage culture from scratch, and made one game-changing hire, Adrian Newey. That single move transformed everything. By 2010, Red Bull wasn't just competitive, they were rewriting the rulebook. With Sebastian Vettel behind the wheel and Newey's engineering brilliance under the hood, Red Bull claimed 4 consecutive world championships. Horner became the face of the operation, the frontman, the strategist, the deal maker. And even when Mercedes rose to dominance during the hybrid era, Horner kept Red Bull sharp, aggressive, and relevant. Then came Max Verstappen. Horner had backed Max from day one, even when it meant disrupting Red Bull's driver hierarchy or upsetting major sponsors. Just as he once built the team around Vettel, Horner molded Red Bull into Max's team. By 2021, that gamble paid off. Red Bull dethroned Mercedes in one of the most controversial and dramatic seasons the sport has ever seen. What followed was sheer domination. Verstappen's title defenses in 2022 and 2023 weren't just convincing, they were crushing. For nearly 2 decades, Horner was the face of a winning machine. But what Horner built, he also tried to control, and that's when cracks began to show. The real turning point came after the death of Red Bull founder Dietrich Mateschitz in 2022. With the man who had balanced the power structure gone, Horner began consolidating control. He wasn't just the team boss anymore, he started shaping the direction of the entire Red Bull organization. And not everyone liked that. The Austrian parent company, Red Bull GmbH, started to grow uneasy. Their Thai majority stakeholders reportedly began asking questions. Meanwhile, Helmut Marko, a longtime talent scout and racing advisor, suddenly found himself sidelined. Rumors spread that Horner was isolating dissenters, promoting loyalists, and making aggressive power moves that went far beyond the pit wall. Insiders claimed Horner was becoming untouchable. From the outside, it looked like he was turning Red Bull racing into his personal empire. Then the scandal hit. In February 2024, Red Bull confirmed that Christian Horner was under investigation following accusations from a female employee alleging inappropriate and controlling behavior. The investigation, commissioned by Red Bull's parent company in Austria, was conducted by an independent barrister. Despite the severity of the allegations, Horner remained in his role, attending team launches and testing as if nothing had happened. Just before the start of the season, the first investigation concluded Horner was cleared. But things didn't end there. Screenshots of alleged messages, described by some outlets as sexually suggestive, began leaking online. While never officially verified, the leaks were widely believed to have come from someone inside Red Bull. This triggered a second internal investigation. By August, Horner was cleared a second time. But by then, the damage inside the paddock was irreparable. Senior figures, including Jos Verstappen, Max's father, had reportedly lost faith in Horner. The atmosphere within Red Bull had turned toxic. Horner publicly called for the sport to move on, but the whispers and the resentment refused to fade. The breaking point came at the 2025 British Grand Prix, where Jos Verstappen confronted Horner face-to-face in the paddock. Witnesses say it was anything but a calm conversation. Jos Verstappen was furious. According to reports, he confronted Horner directly, saying, "I'm going to put pressure on you, Christian." It was a moment that crystallized the growing tension. Many believe Jos wasn't just venting. He was laying down an ultimatum to Red Bull GmbH. Either Horner goes or Max walks. Behind closed doors, that pressure campaign was impossible to ignore. In interviews, Jos hinted at a deeper problem, saying, I think it's more or less a performance decision, performance-based, but of course you have to keep in mind what happened over the last 18 months between Red Bull and Red Bull Austria. Of course, it's a decision from the parent company, Red Bull GmbH, which is based in Austria. And yes, Christian Horner was cleared last year after those allegations, but you could feel there was still a power struggle. The pieces weren't fitting together anymore. Meanwhile, Red Bull's on-track performance was falling apart. After years of total dominance, the 2024 and 2025 seasons turned into a nightmare. Ferrari and McLaren were beating them consistently. The RB cars lacked the edge they once had, and their race strategies were being questioned week after week. Worst of all, Red Bull had slipped to fourth place in the Constructors' Championship. For a team that once ruled Formula One, this was a freefall. Behind the scenes, key figures started leaving. Adrian Newey, the design genius behind their greatest cars, packed up and left. Other engineers soon followed. Red Bull wasn't just losing races, they were losing their identity. And for fans watching from the outside, it became painfully clear who they were blaming: Christian Horner. Then, on the 9th of July, 2025, the bombshell dropped. Christian Horner was gone, fired without warning. No farewell press conference, no sit-down interviews, just a cold, clinical press release thanking him for his years of service. There was no goodbye from Max, no tribute post from Red Bull Racing, just silence. And within hours, Laurent Mekies, formerly of Ferrari, was announced as his replacement. Just like that, the Horner era was over. The reaction was instant. Some fans were shocked. Others celebrated. Reddit exploded with threads dissecting his downfall. Journalists started tearing apart the timeline of events. Horner's old allies stayed silent, while his critics piled on. Bernie Ecclestone didn't mince words, calling Horner an idiot who had completely lost the plot. Engineers began leaking stories of a toxic work culture. Some claimed Horner ruled with fear, that he played politics, that he made the team all about himself. Fair or not, the floodgates had opened and Horner's reputation was drowning. Even Max Verstappen, once his fiercest ally, barely reacted. His statement was short and unemotional. A simple thank you, and nothing more. The silence said everything. Reports of a fallout between Horner and the Verstappens had been circulating for months. Had their relationship ever truly recovered? Some insiders compared it to a marriage. Sometimes you don't have to be on speaking terms every day, but trust is everything. And that trust was gone. By mid-2025, Red Bull's problems were deeper than one man. The team's founder, Dietrich Mateschitz, had passed away in late 2022, and the power vacuum that followed unleashed internal rivalries. Rumors of Max's contract break clause that allows him to leave if Red Bull falls outside the top 3 by the summer break are now louder than ever. Mercedes is watching, Toto Wolff is watching, and Red Bull, they're scrambling to stop the bleeding. New team principal Laurent Mekies has made one thing clear. His number one priority is keeping Max Verstappen. But with Horner gone, engineers leaving, and the team losing ground, the question isn't just, why did Christian Horner fall? It's also, who's next? So, why does everyone hate Christian Horner now? Because power went to his head. Because he alienated his allies. Because even when he was winning, he made enemies. In a sport where perception matters as much as performance, Horner stopped being the clever strategist and started becoming the villain. He wasn't just fired, he was rejected by the board, by the Verstappens, and by the very fans who once cheered his name. But what do you think? Did Christian Horner truly deserve this? Or was he just a convenient scapegoat in someone else's power play? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more raw, behind-the-scenes Formula One drama, hit that subscribe button and don't miss our next deep dive.